Yo, 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 what's good, people? It is Tony the Savant back again. Hope I don't sound crazy on the mic, man. Got the pro set up, and do forgive me for the hiatus, y'all. Let me, yo, yo. Okay. It was sounding crazy on my end, but welcome everybody to the Tony the Savant Sports Show, episode 32. Uh, Please like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel as I drop content daily, go live daily, stay busy on the platform. And last but not least, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section as I'm always intrigued to know what you all have to say about these topics. And ladies and gentlemen, again, I do apologize for the hiatus. It's just been a lot on the plate, man. Got some things going on as far as these youth camps. Uh, got a little media, saying stuff going on as well. So just trying to do the administrative stuff for that. But been paying attention to the sports streets for sure. And I got a couple of topics I want to talk about. Uh, but if y'all get right into it, as we just concluded week one of college football. Well, we still got tomorrow, I guess. The Boston College versus Florida State game. But week one is mostly concluded. Just waiting on the Monday night game. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm a college football, expert. I've said this before. I'm from Chicago, where we have big cities, big teams, professional teams. So unfortunately, I never really got into college sports like that. But now that I'm a sports journalist, I have been keeping my ear to the streets. I really didn't talk too much about it last year when I first started off, as I wanted to be a little bit more, familiar with what I was talking about. So I waited around till this season swung around, and man, I'm happy I did. Was able to study. Now I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know all of the histories and everything. Shout out to some of the homies that be out there that really know they college football. Um, but me personally, man, I just uh find teams that I'm really gonna try to follow it and enjoy them, as we did cover the Colorado Buffaloes versus the North Dakota State University game. I think that team is called the Bisons. We covered that game, or I did a video on it anyway. Been still trying to do the pre-recordings when I get a little free time, but and that was a fantastic game. Again, I think Shadur Sanders is uh, worth all of the hype, as well as Travis Hunter, man. I think these two dudes, as they go, so will the Colorado Buffaloes. And I think we got to put Travis Hunter name in the Heisman hat. I think that might be a little cap because I'm new to these college football streets, but just from what I've seen from the young man these past 2 years, playing both sides of the football, and doing it on a spectacular level. I think it's hard to not give him at least a nod in that Heisman direction, because what Travis Hunter is doing, man, is literally special. So and what he did this last game, I think he put up like 7 receptions, 132 yards, 3 touchdowns, I believe, 2 or 3 touchdowns. Just out of this world performance, and then also getting 3 tackles on the defensive side of the ball. Can't hate on that. And again, I got to give credit to Shador as well. Um, as far as the quarterback goes, Shador looks like he's ready to take that step forward this season. Put his name in the Heisman race. I think it'll be a little bit more easier to, you know, uh, kind of cheer for Shador as he's in the quarterback position. But outside of that, I think that he's talented. He's definitely ready for the professional levels, in my opinion. And I got a hot take saying that he's gonna end up landing with the Cowboys. So this is just his trial run, see what he does. But he looked good game one, week one. That was one game I checked out. Another game I looked at was Virginia Tech versus Vanderbilt. That was a great game. Just from my studies, my research, I was able to find out that Virginia Tech had high expectations this year. Re up, I believe they're in the ACC, so they was really, looking to take that conference and do something special there. But you can never count out them SEC teams, man. They just built different. Even the ones that's not, quote unquote, highly ranked or as talented as Vanderbilt is a SEC program, and they played like it yesterday. Was it Saturday? Um, I was able to catch that game mostly start to finish. That dude Diego Pavia, I think his name is the quarterback for Virginia Tech. No, excuse me, Vanderbilt. I think he came over from New Mexico State. Probably getting some of my research mixed up here, but the kid over there, man, that quarterback, I'm definitely gonna have him on my radar, as he was just absolute special. Throwing the ball and rushing the ball. Virginia Tech looked good too, man. It seems like they're gonna be one of those schools, one of those programs, at least for this year. It may not be their year, even with all of the high hopes, even with all of the returning talent. But I was able to watch that game. That was an instant classic. Vanderbilt was able to get the upset. I think that was pretty much the first upset of week one. Um, and so that was a very great game. I loved that one. Michigan kind of looked like they were struggling a little bit. I seen some of that game as well. As they're the defending champions. I know we got a new system, a new format going with the college football, but as it stands, Michigan is the defending champion. Did not get the returning, the coach Jim Harbaugh, as he did not return as he took an NFL job with the Los Angeles Chargers. It was said that he would be at this game, but he ended up not being able to make it at the last minute due to the preseason preseason work that he was doing with the Chargers, which I think is just an excuse, because everybody knows about the scandal. So seeing how that we'll see. I don't know exactly when that hammer is going to land, but I know that Jim Harbaugh was very instrumental in all of that. But Michigan, their offense looked like it was struggling a little bit. Honestly, that defense looked like it picked up right where they left off last year. Very elite. Pretty much was carrying them until uh, the offense was able to kind of find some juice. They were able to win that game. I believe they played against Fresno State. They was able to win that game 30-10. So nothing really suspenseful there. But I know that they got their touchdowns. I believe two of their touchdowns in the last fourth quarter. So it was essentially a one possession game up until that point, which shouldn't happen. With their program. Michigan also holds the title for the most winning. Can't say the word uh, the most winningest program. Damn Chicago accent be working against me, man. They're the most, the number one program, and they got a big game next week against Texas. I lived in Texas for for 14 years, and uh, Texas is one of those programs, man. They play hard. This is their first year in the SEC, which is something that they've been clamoring for and begging for quite a while. They feel like their program is good enough to hang with the SEC. I think they showed that this week in the way, in their dominant win. Uh, who did they play? I forgot who they played, but anyway, they looked dominant. So much so they was able to sub out Quinn Ewers and give Archie Manning some play time, and Archie was able to get him two scores, one throwing touchdown, one rushing touchdown. Quinn Ewers picked up right where he left off. He wanted to return and do his thing one more time in college. So Texas looked good, and we're gonna have a showdown between Michigan and Texas. They got their first week wins out of the way, but that's going to be a clash, I'm sure, with a lot of implications towards the college football playoffs. But kudos to both those teams, and I think that defense for Michigan, man, it just might be good enough once again to carry this team to the promised land. Another school. It was a couple minutes. I'm sorry, another school, another game. The game that just concluded was LSU and USC. That was a great game. USC was able to get the upset um, by defeating LSU. I forget what the final score was, but man, that game was a thriller. Probably an instant classic. Honestly, But I didn't know that kid Miller Moss, who's the quarterback for USC. He seems like he's going to fall on in that lineage of great quarterbacks that come from USC. The Matt Liners, the Carson Palmer kind of breed. Uh, as he was making some spectacular throws all game, man. The LSU defense is elite. LSU, their program is always, somewhere in the mix as they are SEC school as well. I know this is their third year under Coach Brian Kelly, which I was looking on Twitter. um, Brian Kelly is not a popular guy, I guess, in LSU because his lack of um, success. I guess you wanted. I got to do a little bit more investigating in that, but they are not happy about this loss. But I got to give USC their credit, man. They balled out today, um, and I think that the next generation of skill players, is definitely going to come from these two programs, as they had both these teams are loaded. With great skills players. Excuse me, running backs, wide receivers, even their defenses, respectfully, are elite. But USC was able to pull out the upset, so I'm sure that's going to move them up in the AP poll. As they were ranked 23, LSU was 13, so we'll see where they're ranked next week. There was another couple schools I could think of. A couple games I watched. I'm trying to think. Arizona State. Well, Arizona versus, I think they went against New Mexico State. That kid, T Mac McMillan, man, had himself a game, bro. A big game. I think you had 4 touchdowns, 304 yards, like 11 receptions, man. He was catching everything, and he's a bigger receiver. Like that's always been the kind of prototype I like, the tall receivers, kind of Randy Moss kind of. When I used to create my little Madden players, I used to always create the tall wide receiver just so I can go get it off the ceiling. But he looks like he's in that prototype, and that dude had himself a historic game, very impressive. Um, and that quarterback too, number 11, like dude got a cannon on him. So I'm gonna be checking for Arizona, another school. Notre Dame had a good game, pulled up off well, we can't call it an upset, but they had a great game against Texas A&M. Um, so like I said, I ain't no college football uh, expert yet, y'all, but I'm in the trenches. I was able to catch about 7 games this week. Damn near, I'm learning on the fly. So had to learn about the FCS and the FBS, the difference between the two, and all that kind of stuff. But there was so many damn games. Man, Down Sports, what's going on, man? It was good, big bro. Shout out to you, man. Down, one of my number one sources of information. Background look good. Thank you, big bro. I'm still decking it up a little bit. This is just kind of like the stuff I had already. I got some stuff coming in the mail, so yeah, man. Investing in the craft, man. Trying to move on up in here, get to your level, big bro. Really. But shout out to Man Down Sports for real. That's the big homie. Uh, but moving on to the next topic, I wanted to talk about. I ain't make my banners, but I don't know if you heard about this mail, man. But Molly Karam and Brian Windhorst disrespected Kevin Garnett. And I don't understand what the protection program is for these people, man, because this is what the scenario was. And I gotta get like big bro. I gotta start getting my sound bites. Because when I heard this on ESPN, I was flabbergasted. I'm like, first of all, Molly Karam, I don't, have as big of a criticism of her as most people. A lot of people find her annoying within my social circles. Uh, I saw a video about it, but I didn't click on it. Yeah, yeah, big bro. You should check it out. And you should break it down because you break it down to the science. But the disrespect of these analysts, of these people that ain't never did nothing, never accomplished nothing. It just it really baffles my mind. It also motivates me to stay on my game, to make sure, or I know that for sure I have a lane in this sports journalism thing, because these people on the mainstream, man, they are not credible, and they just say the most disrespectful stuff. But just to get to what Molly Karam and Brian Windhorst said on their channel, on ESPN, uh, Kevin Garnett made some comments. Well, let's start at the top. Anthony Edwards made some comments. about Michael Jordan being the only talented person in his era. That went viral, had the NBA streets talking, of course. Got a number of the veterans uh, about their seats, and they were speaking on it. And one of those guys was Kevin Garnett. And shout out to Big Bro. He broke this down on Man Down as well. I checked that video out. But Kevin Garnett broke it down to the soil, man. You know, he just kept it real about his era, what it took to make it, what you had to go through. Especially, you know, I loved how he mentioned how you had to have a respect for the elders in his era. Like it wasn't just no going around talking crazy to everybody. And he also mentioned how these dudes today couldn't play in his era, which, you know, I kind of agree with, considering that when you see good defense on these dudes, and we just seen it with Joker and Jamal Murray, you know, the defending champions before the Celtics won. Whenever you turn that defense up on them, they look like a totally different team. And then we talking about these teams now, you plot one of these teams back in the 90s or the 80s, you know, where defense was prevalent, every team was sticking a high level of defense. I don't see any of these guys being what they are today. You know, a lot of these guys are a product of their era. We are in a era where it's offensive, you know, happy. I think if you've been watching the NBA for more than 15 minutes, you see it. You know, you see what we've been seeing. It's a very offensive friendly game nowadays, considering what Michael Jordan and even Kobe Bryant went through. But Kevin Garnett spoke on his eras as far as how these guys couldn't survive in that era because, you know, of those differences and rules changes, culture, you know, marketing, all of that stuff plays a factor. But Molly Kiram, of all people, man, you know, and I try to defend Molly, but she a throwaway, man. She a pick me. She did my boy Jalen Rose dirty. Uh, she had the nerve to come out of her mouth and say she did this so slick, man. When they ran a clip of Kevin Garnett's comments, and Molly, after the comments ran, she said that was Kevin Garnett's, you know, take. Oh, by the way, he only has one MVP, and you know what I mean, just in passing. And Stephen A. sat there and didn't say nothing. Stephen A. has had Kevin Garnett on his show. I believe Stephen A.'s been on Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce's show. Uh, Correct me if I'm wrong, but Stephen A. didn't say nothing, man. And this is why you can't have guys like him, you know, representing the basketball community. And I know he tries to, you know, hang his hat on that, but no, you can't have Stephen A. as a representative of us, because if I'm sitting up there, I'm like, yo, Molly, what was that slight for? But to compound on that, Brian Windhorst goes on to say, and I can't remember what he said verbatim, but he goes on to say that Kevin Garnett doesn't know what he's talking about. And that's why I had to just kind of, you know, fall back, you know, drink me a glass of water, because I'm like, yo, what is going on in the lamestream media, where they are now talking down on a top 5 power forward. You can argue top 10. You can't go down, you can't mention many power forwards and not bring up Kevin Garnett. But top 10, top 5 power forward, and one of the greatest players to ever play the game of basketball. Kevin Garnett name was called during that top 75 players ceremony, what was that, last year or 2 years ago, whenever they did that. He was in the mix. He was there. And the fact of the matter that you got people like Brian Windhorst, who has rode the coattails of LeBron James. Yeah, big bro. That's what I said. I literally paused the video and I had to get on off of the internet for a second, because I'm like, bro, this is. But when I came back to my senses, I realized this is why we got to do what we do, big bro. Because in 10, 20 years, the mainstream media has already been, weakened, and their empire has been crumbling. But in another 10, 20, my kids are old enough and they might be, looking into some sports. They're going to have our platforms to look to, to compound it. And the kids now are raised on the internet. They ain't raised on the television like I was, and I'm sure like you was, big bro. But at the same time, uh, we got to keep our voices out there. We got to keep offsetting the nonsense, because if we didn't do what we did, stuff like with Molly Kiram and Brian Whitehorse would be the status quo. That would be the opinion. It's only because you'll click on the video that says Molly Kiram was bugging, Brian Whitehorse is wilding out here. that you will get the fair balanced truth. But yeah, I had to step away off the internet because Brian Windhorst has rode the coattails of LeBron James his entire life, his entire career. That's how I found out about him. I didn't know nothing about Brian Windhorst before LeBron James came into the NBA. And as far as Molly Karam, again, some of my boys in my circles, I've heard them say things. I've never really paid attention to Molly. You know, I don't watch ESPN as much as I used to, but they say that she interrupts a lot. She's supposed to be a moderator, and she'll be up there just giving her whole sports take that nobody asked for. And I only really know Molly from Jalen Rose, you know, that whole situation that she had with Jalen. I'm a big fan of Jalen Rose. When Jalen Rose speaks, I listen. But you know, I know she did my boy dirty. I don't know, you know, what the all of the details was, but you know, at this point, Molly, I'm on my boy's side. You know, I tried to shoot you some bail. I tried to defend you, but you know, I don't understand what the slight was. I don't get it. A pick me, a straight throwaway. You know, at the end of the day, and Brian Windhorst, I never cared for him, but at the end of the day, uh, just the fact of the matter that they come out of their mouth disrespecting Kevin Garnett and how Kevin Garnett broke down that situation, I don't think anybody could oppose. He wasn't saying nothing in the sense of trying to talk down on the guys today. You know, he just brought up straight facts. You know, and if, like again, well, I'll say this: if you've been watching basketball for more than 10, 15 years, you understand what he's saying as far as the quality of the game. You know, and at the end of the day, could these guys survive? I can't see Luca being Luca. You know, and during the bad boy Pistons era, you put LeBron, James Harden, uh, maybe Kawhi still Kawhi to a degree. I don't know though, but you put one of these guys against the bad boys Pistons. Oh, it's curtains. They would never have the resolve that Michael Jordan had. They was whooping Michael Jordan. They was playing football, to quote my big bro, and man down. Mel broke it down for me. Like, we went from playing in the Bad Boys era when they was winning championships. That was the NFL version of the NBA, and the NBA noticed, like, hey man, you know it's good to have some defense, but we got to tilt the scales a little bit back the other way. You know, get back to playing basketball, and that's exactly what they did. It just happened that if you quit abusing Michael Jordan, he actually looks like the best basketball player on the court. If you get the right to just abuse him, snatch him out of the air, then of course you can beat Michael Jordan in a 7 game series. But once you tilt the scales to being a fair, amount of basketball and excuse me, offense and defense, then all of a sudden Michael Jordan can be Michael Jordan. But at the end of the day, these dudes don't understand that. These young cats don't understand that. And at when Anthony Edwards said what he said, I was, taken aback. But Brian Windhorst and Molly Karam, nah, y'all got no ground to be speaking on. But like I said, big bro, I would love for you to check that video out. You break it down, man, because I couldn't stand what I heard. And then my man Austin Rivers, it's another guy, big bro. Austin Rivers says that he could have been a top, I think he said top 10 or 20 point guard in the 70s, 80s, or 90s. It's just like, man. And this was a totally different situation. He wasn't on ESPN or nothing. It's just a totally different soundbite that I even heard. And I'm just saying, man, what do these mainstream people get off, man? Like, who are they hanging out with? Who is endorsing this craziness? Austin Rivers in his heyday at when he was at his best, he was doing his thing at Duke. And I think that was the best version of Austin Rivers we've ever seen. He was trash when he came into the NBA. He was trash when he played with his dad. He was trash after he, quit playing with his dad. And I'm not saying trash to disrespect him. I'm saying in the sense of what he obviously think he is. Talking about he could have been a top 10 anything in the NBA in any era. Like, ah man, I love it. I promise you, I love it. But I hate these dudes. I can't stand them, man. They can just say whatever and unadulterated. But this last little topic I wanted to get in because I got to get on back to work. Uh, that's why I say I got to make my time. I got to start time managing a little better so I can come hang out with the people. But Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, and I think you broke this down on your platform as well, big bro. But they played today, and very good games. Both of them putting up more history. I can't recall what Angel Reese, excuse me, what Caitlin Clark did. I know she did some kind of history today. But Angel Reese now has the record for the most rebounds in a single season, as she was able to get 19 today, in addition to 17 points, another double double. I think that gives her 25 for the year. Oh, and Caitlin Clark, she has the most double doubles in a WNBA season as a guard. So that's impressive as well. Me personally, I would love to see Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese on the same team, man. I know that sounds like cap, but I think that's the only way to bring some kind of peace in between the rift of the fan bases. Is that if these two was on the same team, man, ain't no telling. They would take over the WNBA as rookies. As rookies, it would be nothing for them to take over the W right now. They will only have to really worry about the aces. But both teams played today. The Indiana Fever were able to get a victory over the Dallas Wings. That was a very good game this afternoon as Arika Agumbale came to work today. She put up, I think, 33 or 34 points. Also made a WNBA record. I think she hit like 9 or 10 threes. She was hot, man. I mean, like she was hitting bombs. I had to turn my head away for just a second, but by the time I turned back, they were showing another highlight of her hitting a three. And I'm talking about like Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Coach Christie's side. Everybody was trying to guard her today. Um, but they were able to pull off a victory. Kelsey Mitchell put up, I think this was her career high, 36 points. Caitlin Clark was able to add in 30. I mean, excuse me, she was able to add in 23 points. Um, and I'm just going off memory. I don't have the stats in front of me. I'm sorry, but it was a good game, And I do want to say this, man. Between the two fan bases, I think it's just some truth that we got to accept. All right, and I love this about Caitlin Clark. Excuse me, I love Caitlin Clark's game, but when I see the Indiana Fever play, it kind of looks like a super team. You know how they got everything, man. They got really literally everything. Aaliyah Boston ain't no punk. She be going toe to toe with all of the best centers, and then she's a little undersized. But I seen her battling. What's the lady? McCowan. I know the young lady's name, the center for the Dallas Wings, but they was going pretty much hand to hand combat. You know what I mean? Like, and Aaliyah Boston holding her own, and to the point where I don't think she really got a bucket off until late in the game. But her first bucket was a nice little move. Like, she was showing I'm here. You know what I mean? Um, and then you look at Nalissa Smith. Nalissa Smith to me is really improving. As to me, she was really just an Angel Reese kind of type, just a rebounder, finisher around the rim. But she's been extending her game to the mid range and to the 3 pointer. I know last game she hit a three, and then this game I seen her for sure hit a mid range or two. Uh, and then not even to mention Kelsey Mitchell, who is just, I think she's been the hottest basketball player outside of Arika Agumbale. Maybe you can even say from the start of the season. Uh, uh, Kelsey, Big Bro said Kelsey Mitchell got scoring automatic like Kyrie did, and Caitlin is getting all the credit like LeBron because she gets the assists and points. Yeah, facts. And I used to try to fight it off, but Caitlin Clark is not a bad marketing tool, if you want to say like she's not a bad person or a bad athlete to market around. I think her fan base is atrocious, just as bad as LeBron James. But LeBron James, you can't market around him. Like he's not likable, especially when you really about this dude. LeBron sexuals hit a bad news and just ignore it. But when you know about this dude and you see how he moves and stuff. I don't think he's a very good person to market around, and that's why the NBA's ratings are as trash as they are now. But I agree with you on that one, Big Bro. She's gonna get all that the credit, just like LeBron James, and I think that's kind of unfortunate for Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston. But nonetheless, I think she is on a legit super team. With all of the facts of playing with top two picks, Alyssa Smith a number two, Leah Boston at number one, and then Kelsey Mitchell at number two. And not to even mention Lexi Hall, who's a defensive stalwart, could be, in contention for one of the top perimeter defenders on the team. She's looking like a super team, Big Bro. And my boy was on Twitter. I was going back and forth with him. He was talking about she's getting carried. I'm like, nah, I don't think she's getting carried. I think that the Caitlin Clark the Caitlin Clark effect is you need to put your best defenders on her, and it opens up the floodgates for Kelsey Mitchell. You can't put your second or third best defender on Kelsey Mitchell. She gonna cook them. But the same way that you need Caitlin Clark to be on the court to be at least a decoy. Caitlin could get her bars off too. She hit a couple big threes. In that fourth quarter, when the game was close, the Wings was really making a comeback for it. Um, Caitlin Clark hit the two big threes, like you want to call them daggers, to kind of give them the final stretch, little 6 point lead. Um, but to not to say that she's getting carried, but I do gotta say that she's on a legitimate super team. When you compare her team to not just the Chicago Sky, but she got just as much talent on her team as the Aces and the Liberty. And considering that you got Erica Wheeler coming off the bench, who's kind of like a great, I'm not gonna say this sounds disrespectful, but a great value version of of Kelsey Mitchell. Not as high volume of a scorer, but Erica Wheeler can get her own shot. She can run some offense, and Lexi Hall again, and that center too. The young lady that comes off the bench as their center, she's a dope center too. So I think she'll be a starting center on anybody else's team. Caitlin Clark is on a legitimate super team, y'all. And I guess that's gonna be my new take. Not taking nothing away from her, but I can't just put all of the team success on her shoulders. Now, everybody, I've had some people mention that last season, this team was the exact same and it was trash. And I think that kind of attests to Chrissy Sides, her coaching, her being able to, really utilize her team the way she's utilizing them. Because even with Caitlin Clark's phenomenal talent, she's still, implementing her in the system. She's not just throwing her out to the wolves, making her play a bunch of isolation basketball. Um, I think that's attributed to the coach. Now, a lot of people feel like Chrissy Sides should be fired. You know what I mean. I don't know the ins and outs of the Indiana Fever that well. I believe this is her first or second year as the coach for the Indiana Fever, but I know if the team wasn't that good last year and they are good this year, that's just not all the players. If it's the same exact players with Caitlin Clark dropped in the middle, I think that a lot of people calling for her job need to reassess and maybe give her some credit. As far as if this team was ass last year and now they in the playoffs and making the run for it, I'm gonna give Chrissy Sides her credit, man. That's coaching right there. Um, but also, looking at what Kelsey Mitchell doing, 36 points. Aaliyah Boston is a walking double double. And on any given night, you got an Aaliyah Boston that can, service Angel Reese. So now Caitlin Clark can do her thing and not even really go toe to toe with her adversary. Because Angel Reese will have Aaliyah Boston problems all night. The Indiana Fever are a super team, man. If they keep this team intact, I think they'll be a legitimate contender in the next year or two. Not even the Aces don't look like they as elite as they once was in past season. I like the New York Liberty, but the New York Liberty are the Buffalo Bills of the WNBA. They just get to the WNBA finals to get the trophies away. So I don't think that trend would change, all of a sudden. Um, I don't see too many teams, maybe the Connecticut Sun. I don't see too many teams getting in Angel Reese's way. Excuse me, not Angel Reese's, Caitlin Clark's in the Indiana Fever, considering they're the second youngest team in the WNBA right now. Give them another 2-3 years, and they stay together. Even if they lose a piece or two, I think you can afford to lose an Alyssa Smith, maybe Lexi Hall. I don't think you could afford to lose any of the big three. But that was just my take from watching them play today because it was just like, man, bombs everywhere, rebounds everywhere, defense everywhere. And, that's not all Caitlin Clark. That's a whole team thing. And to your credit, big bro, that was kind of like the same thing with LeBron back in his day. It wasn't so much that he was on a super team, but LeBron used to be on squads. Considering how teams was formulated back then, LeBron used to have a squad. It was always him that came up short because he was supposed to be the quote unquote superstar. You ain't looking to Booby Gibson to bail you out. But as far as if you look at it, maybe not the names on paper, but statistically, Mo Williams and all these were top 3 point shooters in the league. Zagauskas was a top rebounder in the league. So it was really upon, and I think they were one of the more top 5, top 3 defenses in the league. That 66 win season, I believe that was the 2010 season. Correct me if I'm wrong. Um, I thought that team was good to win it all. Honestly, I didn't see really anybody but maybe Kobe getting in his way. At that point, I was still a LeBron James supporter. So, I was like, yeah, we gonna go ahead and get it this year. But things happen. It's always something with that man, LeBron James. But yeah, Austin Rivers was bugging. If I could talk about my girl Angel Reese real quick, um, as she did do her thing on the rebounding, man. I gotta say this, man. It's something going on with the Chicago Skies organization. I watch a lot of their post game interviews and all that kind of stuff. And man, I was watching the interview, and I meant to make a video on it, but I was watching the interview with Camila Cardoso and Lizzie Allen. And shout out to my guy CEO Kano, I think his name is. He covered it as well, um, and said everything I would have said. But there was some ruckus going on in the interview, bro. Like, I don't know if Kennedy Carter was wilding. I don't know if Angel Reese was wilding, but there was some ruckus going on in the interview. And if y'all want to go check it out, it was the game after it was this last week that we had the game against Connecticut Sun, the first game we had against Marina Mabry. It was that particular game, those particular post games interviews. But if you watch the Camilla Cardoso and Lindsey Allen interview, you're gonna be disgusted. And this is something I've been telling people. Everybody say I've been bugging. I'm like, nah, I know what when there's some team chemistry going on, nobody passing the ball, mugs just taking their own shots. And I'm sorry, Kennedy Carter has a history of being a firecracker. You know what I mean? I'm not saying the girl ain't talented. She's talented as hell. But we've all known that person on the court that was or on the field or whatever that was talented but had a bad attitude, couldn't stay out of trouble, couldn't stay out of their own way. And it seemed like Kennedy Carter is in that kind of lane. But in the post game interviews, man, there was like you could hear like chairs being thrown around. You could hear them arguing in the conference room, or I mean, excuse me, in the locker room, because how the WNBA's post game interviews go, it's like they do theirs right outside the hallway of the locker rooms. I'm just assuming because you can hear everything in the locker room, but you can hear them. You could just hear people yelling at each other, and then just hear it sound like furniture getting thrown around. But I'm just so kind of sad, man, because I'm a Chicago fan. I'm Chicago to the day I die, and of course I got to support my Sky Town. But it just seems like, man, there's some inner turmoil going on with this team. And I kind of wish Candace Parker could have stayed there because that's the only time we had some tranquility. The only time we had some tranquility was when CP3 was there. Shout out to my brother, Uncle Paulie Entertainment, Chicago Toxic. Yes, sir, brother. Yes, sir. You know what I mean? And it ain't just the Sky. It's always the Chicago teams. It's always some drama going on with the Bulls. Always some drama going on with the Blackhawks. Pick a Chicago team. It's going to be some drama, but what I'm really hating for is what I'm really disgusted for in this particular situation is that Angel Reese is kind of just going through the motions right now. Her and Camila Cardoso. I love Camila just like I love Angel, but it seems like both of them are going to be hindered by the Chicago Sky culture. And I think it's a disadvantage. I would love to see us build a team. I would love for us to have a team lined up like the Indiana Fever, where maybe we had a couple picks. I would love to. Well, I made a video about this, but I really wanted us to keep Kalia Copper. Man, I knew we was going to get either Cameron Brink, Aaliyah Edwards, one of the top picks because we had the third pick. We got the 7th pick at the last second to get Angel Reese, but we had the third pick in the bag, so I knew we was going to get one of the top girls, and then pair that up with Kalia Copper. Oh, man, yeah, we need a passer, Paulie, so bad, man. Today's game, our backcourt got outscored brutally. I think going into the fourth quarter, it was like 4-28. You know what I mean, as far as backcourt scoring. Um, but it's just heartbreaking, man. It's kind of difficult to even watch because we are wasting Angel Reese's talent, Camila Cardoso's talent, and I watched this movie a few times. We was able to get a championship with Kalia Copper, but Ella Deladonna, I can't recall her name, but I used to like her. That's when I first started watching the WNBA. No, not at first, but that's when I first started watching the Sky. when we got her, and we wasted all we wasted all of the talent in the years that she gave us. So I don't want to see that movie happen again with Angel Reese. Again, the only time we had some tranquility, and we wasn't we wasn't winning like we were supposed to, but we had a leader in Candace Parker. Candace Parker was our, point guard and our post presence. Like I said, it was just the point of the matter that we had some stability in the wins and the losses. We played a consistent brand of basketball. And Kalia Copper was our quote unquote Kyrie, to quote Big Bro. She was in her bag during her Chicago, especially during the championship run. But anyway, it just seemed like we ain't had no peace in the organization since then, as we have forfeited our future for Marina Mabry just to trade her off to the Connecticut Sun for essentially nothing. I mean, I like Michaela Anya. I can't say my baby name. Uh, Onionware. Okay, Michaela Onionware, the young lady that we got, and also Monique Jefferson was another piece that we got in that trade. But at the end of the day, they not doing enough to really kind of help us get over the hump, if you will. But I just hope that we don't waste Angel Reese's time with us, and then she end up going to another squad and winning a championship. The coach seemed like she doesn't do any plays. Oh yeah, that's another thing I meant to mention. Teresa Witherspoon in that post game interview, as mentioned, man, she pulled up to the interview late, and it just looked like it looked like she was the one in there arguing, probably with a Kennedy Carter or maybe even Angel Reese. I'm not gonna put it on anybody because nothing came out from the situation. No like leaked news or anything like that. But you could just hear it you could hear it yourself in the interview. That's why I say go watch that clip because it looked like Teresa Witherspoon when she got to the interview. It looked like she just got done fighting, bro. It looked like she just just got done arguing with somebody. And then I wouldn't be surprised if it was her. I wouldn't be surprised if it was, like I say, I ain't trying to throw Kennedy Carter under the bus, but she ain't been available these last few games. And it's hurting us in the backcourt. We need her 17 a night. I think he was trying to say Cardosa. Me too, Paulie. For real. Cardosa is a beast. She's just been injured. I think you give her another all season. She come back next year, she gonna be elite. But like I say, it's not gonna sometimes organizations waste talent and the Chicago, the whole city of Chicago. We're one of those teams, all of our teams. We just waste talent, man. The Bears, the Blackhawks, we got a young dude on the Blackhawks right now. He's supposed to be like the next Patrick Kane. I'm sure we gonna waste his talent. I'm sure of it. We got lucky with Patrick Kane and Jonathan Tays when we was hot in hockey. We just kind of hit. We struck lightning twice. She can be an elite defender. Carmilla Cardoso, yeah, she's a top notch. Anybody from the school of Dawn Staley, all of Dawn Staley's, all of her girls are elite. Aaliyah Boston, Asia Wilson, and then we got Raven Johnson finna come into the league. So, the Gamecocks, they produce championship level talent. And Cardoso is a elite player. It's just she had a real bad injury. She's still recovering from, you know. So, but man, thank y'all for pulling up. Like I say, I had some other topics, but I'm gonna get a little bit better with my time management. That's the next thing I'm working on my personal development. So, uh, and we're gonna get this thing popping a little bit early tomorrow. Shout out to you, big bro. Man Down Sports, Mail. Definitely finna swing over there and catch up on some content. I was watching some of the recent Friday show because I know y'all didn't go live last Friday, and I think I was out with the wife and the kids this Friday, but I'm about to go catch up on that real quick, big bro. Shout out to you. Make sure y'all swing by his platform, subscribe. Uncle Paulie's Entertainment. That's the music manager, man. Make sure y'all swing by his channel as well. Subscribe. When you dropping the mixtape, Paulie, man? When you dropping the mixtape, bro? Come on, man. I've been promoting you for 2 years, man. The people need some tunes. I need some new music. If you go to some of my earlier videos, you'll see Paulie on like 100 of them. I got like 1,000 videos up now. God is good, but Goons, what's going on, my brother? What's going on with you, man? Shout out to Real Goons TV. I was just wrapping up the show, Really Goons. Nah, I apologize. We gotta get back to some work, but man, you been keeping up with the college? Who dropping new music? I got okay, Ghost. I didn't know you was into the music too, brother. Hey, look out, man. We're gonna have to link and network. With my boy Uncle Paulie Entertainment. He in the chat right now. Yeah, he be doing his thing on the music, man. And I need to really get my jersey off the rafters. Get back into the game. But yeah, goons, man, I'm gonna have to get with you then, bro. If you're doing some music. But I was talking a little college football, watching that game. Oh, Paulie say no studio. Okay, bro. We're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that. We can record on this right here. We got on the podcast equipment. If you need an intro beat, I got you. Hey, goons, let's link, bro. Let's link for sure. Yeah, and I got your number still, goons. I'm gonna hit your line. Uncle Paulie Entertainment salute for real. Yeah, we need the network, man. We need all, you know what I'm saying, get like minded and link up. But yeah, goons, if you don't mind, man, let's talk about that beat. 'Cause, now that I got my podcast equipment, I just ain't really had the time to sit here and make me an intro and all that kind of stuff yet. But that's coming next. And of course, the Tony the Savant Sports Show. I'm gonna step it up on this lane and try to do some things to enhance the show, make it a little bit more professional. As y'all can see, I got the background. That was step one. We're just gonna keep moving forward. Great start to the season. Yeah, man. It's looking good. It's looking like it's gonna be a very interesting college football season. With all of these teams and a lot of these dudes. What I love about it, the number one thing I love about this season is that it ain't going one loss doesn't kill your opportunity to win it all. I used to always hate that about the 4 team system. I used to always just hate that about college football, period. Like one loss, like you damn near gotta go undefeated just to be able to have an opportunity to get it. Well, back in the day it was the bowl games. But now uh so with this new college football format, the playoff format, I think I'm digging this, man. It's gonna give us a lot more other teams, a lot of chances. Excuse me, a little bit more of an opportunity to make it. And also, one loss don't kill you. So, like the teams that lost today, LSU, um, Florida State, they lost last week. These are two top 15 teams. Where just you can just because you lost in week one, you still got a chance in week 12, week 13. But yeah, we got to see how that play out. Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about college football. That's the beautiful thing about football. Period. You think when the New York Giants won in 2011, was that 2012? When they beat 2017, I can't remember. When they beat the Patriots, that's when I knew football was just a different sport. I was like, with Randy Moss, Tom Brady, that team was stacked. And 9-8 New York Giants won the Super Bowl. That was crazy to me. But yeah, man, I'm gonna get up out of here. Appreciate you, Goons. Shout out to you, man. Make sure y'all swing by my brother Real Goons channel. Also Uncle Paulie Entertainment. Also Man Down Sports. Make sure y'all like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff here. Leave a thought in the comment section. I'm gonna get back to this work real quick. Salute. We're gonna get back to this tomorrow. Like I said, I'm gonna get on here a little bit earlier. Shout out to my brothers. I am Tony the Savant. Peace.